With the trade deadline coming to a close, the Toronto Maple Leafs and the Vegas Golden Knights both sneak a trade in at the last second that will really help both of their teams, and we'll break it all down for you coming up on this episode of Hat Trick HQ. Before we get into it, just want to say if you're one of the thousands of people watching this that aren't subscribed, make sure to go down below and hit that subscribe button. But with that said, let's go right into the first topic of the video today, which is Vegas makes another big splash. And this is a huge trademark from Frank Cervelli. He says that Tomas Hertl is going to Vegas, and it's an absolute jaw dropper. And when you look at the package going in return for Tomas Hertl, it is first in 2025. David Enstrom, who was a first-round pick in 23, and Hertl is in at 17% retained to Vegas, a third in 25, and a third in 27. And this is a massive trade that kind of shocked the NHL today. Obviously, Tomas Hertl has been a very, very solid player here in the NHL for quite some time. So far this season with 34 points in 48 games. He is on the IR right now, but they do expect him to make a regular season debut in Vegas at some point. But obviously this guy has been a great player, great two-way guy throughout his career here in San Jose. And if we take a look at where Tomas Hertl may slot in here for the Vegas Golden Knights, I mean, this roster is already stacked. And when you add a guy of Tomas Hertl's stature into this lineup, it's just this team is just phenomenal. I mean, I think he'd come in here at the second line center with Anthony Mantha, who is a new acquisition here just before the trade deadline, and Chandler Stevenson. But Mark, I mean, this trade really came out of left field. Nobody really expected this to happen today, and I mean, this is amazing. I mean, Hertl, I think, is signed through to 2030 season. So, I mean, this is a guy who's going to be in Vegas for a long time, and he's going to make a really big impact in Vegas.
Yeah, this is one of those trades that kind of came out of left field. I know we were just finishing up a recording when I got the notification, and I was kind of mind blown. I thought it was a fake account or something. But the big thing with Hertl is when we first heard this guy's name, I don't mean today. I remember the first time you probably ever heard of him was his 4 goal game when he was only 19 years old. Since then, he's taken off in the league, and this is why he got such a big contract. Speaking of the contract, obviously he's on LTIR right now. But the big thing is with them retaining 17%, that gets them just under the cap enough to bring a guy like him into the regular season lineup at some point. So getting him down the middle is going to be big for this Vegas team. I want to give my caps off to him. No pun intended when I say cap. But this team knows how to work around everything. They know how to work numbers. The management team over there has been outstanding. We see year after year, they make these trades. Obviously, players go on LTIR, but they make these trades that push them right into the contention. This is why they've been multiple times making it to the Stanley Cup Finals, making the playoffs every year. This team is just poised to be a good team for the next couple of seasons, and adding Hertl is going to be a big piece to that as well.
I can't believe that Kelly McCrimmon and the Vegas Golden Knights were able to pull this trade off. I think he's the GM of the trade deadline here in my books. I mean, bring in Noah Hannafin, who is just going to bolster their defense so much, and then Anthony Mantha, who's going to provide some great secondary offense for his team, and now Tomáš Hertl to center that second line is just amazing. I can't believe it. When you look at this roster, when they're fully healthy, and you put Alec Martinez and Mark Stone back into this lineup, I mean, it's kind of hard to say that this team is not going to win the Stanley Cup.
Yeah, that's the big thing. You just look at this team on paper. Obviously, they're in a wild card spot right now. They are without a few players. Hannafin is joining the team now. You have Tomas Hertl joining the team. This team is going to be quite hard for a team to beat. And the worst thing is, if they finish the season as a wild card team, you're going to see teams like the Vancouver Canucks that are number one in the West have to face a Vegas team like this going into the playoffs, which would just be bone crushing, especially if you have to deal with them for 7 straight games. I definitely agree that Vegas is the winners of the trade deadline. It seems like clear cut, like you said, they got scoring and Mantha. He's a big body. He's hard to play against. Noah Hannafin is still quite young at just 26 or 27 years old. He's going to sign extension. He's going to look great there for the years to come. And then just adding Tomas Hertl just puts the icing on the cake. The big thing with this is obviously they're going to have to lose a couple players in the offseason. It seems like a guy like Marchessault might be on his way out if they can't figure out the cap to work, which is a bit weird just saying how he won a Conn Smythe. But Vegas is all about business, and it seems like that's the right route. And I think they're slowly changing the game where a lot of general managers might start leaning into their style of management.
Yeah, it just seems to think that this team is never going to go into a rebuild. They've been so consistently good since they entered the league. I mean, they made it to, what was it, the Cup final that year? And it's crazy that an extension team can come in and just make this big amount of impact in such a short amount of time. And like you said, there is going to be an odd man outcome here the offseason, but the future is definitely bright with Tomáš Hertl signed through the 29-30 season and potential Noah Hannafin maybe a 7 or 8 year deal. I mean, these are two big acquisitions by the Vegas Golden Knights today and yesterday, and I'm really excited for this team, and I can't wait to watch them when when this team is fully healthy because they're going to be a problem. But we're going to get into the second topic here, which is the Leafs acquire Connor Dwyer, and if we take a look here, this is from Frank Saravelli. He says the Minnesota Wild traded Connor Dwyer to the Leafs for a fourth-round pick in 2026. And if you guys don't know much about Connor Dwyer, we're going to get into it here. This is his third season in the NHL, where this year he's in 57 games played, has 14 points. But the big upside to this guy is his defensive game. A great defensive forward, great penalty killer. So far this season with 94 hits, 27 blocks. He's a physical presence out there, and if we take a look at where we might see him fit in this lineup, I mean, he is a center, and Brad Treliving has come out and said you can never have too many centers on a team, so we could see him maybe slot in here with Noah Gregor, or we could see him slot in here on the fourth line for David Kampf. But Mark, I really do expect this guy to be on the fourth line for the Toronto Maple Leafs here, but I think this is a great pickup, kind of a sneaky ad by Brad Treliving and the Toronto Maple Leafs. I feel like we've said that a couple of times here about the trades they've made here at this deadline, and I really do like it. This is what they need. It's a penalty killer. It's a defensive forward.
The first two things to look at, really, I know a lot of people are going to be mad they didn't make a lot of moves. Yes, I am quite upset they didn't go out and get a guy like Colton Parayko. Obviously, you would have to deal with his term and him slowly regressing. You have guys like Budnevich that would be a great fit on this Leafs team. Once again, the salary, where the team stands, it's hard to put all your cards into one pile. You want to figure out where you're going with this team. Treliving's just getting his mind on this team. He's getting what his identity wants to be. We're slowly seeing this happening, and he's changing this team for the good. Edmondson was a great pickup. This is a guy that's going to come in, lay body. He's going to be hard to play against. You see Dewar come in, he's going to be the same. Yes, he's 5'11". Yes, he might be a weird fit within this lineup. But the big thing is you're bringing in players that are hard to play against, a penalty killer, which was much needed. Yes, our forwards have been good on the penalty kill, but you can never have too many. When you get into the playoffs, statistically, the numbers are going to go up in penalties. It really doesn't feel like it a lot of time, but we're going to need penalty killers. This is a guy you could maybe see slot into the third line center if Tavares goes back up. Maybe this is a guy that you want to slot on the wing with a guy like Nylander and Domi to add more defense to his line while he can still do a bit of offensive output. It's going to be quite interesting how they juggle these lines. I know Keefe's not a big fan of juggling lines, even when sometimes he should be. But the thing is, we have a lot of time to work with now to kind of figure things out. Obviously, Nyes went down with an injury, so maybe he just takes this spot. It's going to be interesting, but I'm kind of happy Brad didn't completely sell everything for one player, and he picked up multiple players just to make this team a new identity, make them hard to play against. And like Domi said when playing Boston, they're sticking together, they're sticking up for each other. This is a team. So it seems like they're bringing in players with the exact same mindset.
Yeah, so it's a very smart move by Brad Treliving. I know a lot of Leafs fans are like, oh, we didn't get the big name or whatever, but you got a lot of solid guys is what you need. You already have the big names. You have Nylander, you have Marner, you have, Matthews, you have like Joseph Wall and Net, who's been phenomenal. You have all these big name players, and you don't really need to go out and acquire them. You just need to go out and acquire, the small guys, the guys that are going to make impacts off the stat sheet and stuff like this, those sandpaper guys that in a 7-game series you're not going to want to go up against. And this is exactly what Brad Treliving has done with this team by even earlier on in the offseason bringing in Bertuzzi, bringing in Domi, now bringing in Bush and Edmondson and Dwyer. These are all guys who are grinders. They're going to go to bat for your team every single night, and I really love what Brad Treliving has done to this Toronto Maple Leafs team. Added some grit and added some size here, and I think this is a great move by Brad because, I mean, I mean, Connor Dwyer is a great penalty killer. It's what he's known for. He's also known for scoring a few shorties. He can do it shorthanded. So, I mean, this guy is just a great addition for this team. And like you said, it will be interesting to see how the lines look now with Matthew Nyes kind of going out with that injury and losing William Lagesson to the waiver wire. But I think it is going to be interesting to see what happens, and I can't wait to see the new look Leafs when they play next, and they're all in the lineup. It's going to be fun to watch. But we want to hear from you guys. What are your guys' thoughts on both these trades? Let us know down below in the comment section. We're going to get into everybody's favorite topic here, which is comment of the day. And the comment of the day today goes to Chad. He says, you guys are first out of the gate with trade info on YouTube. Keep up the good work watching from New Brunswick. Shout out to you, Chad, one of our Atlantic provinces buddies here, you know, us from Newfoundland, you from New Brunswick. But I really appreciate the comment there and appreciate the support. We try to be the best. We try to be the best to getting the news out first, and it's been working out for us here lately. So we really appreciate that and appreciate all your guys' support. But if you guys enjoyed this one, make sure down below hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. We'd really appreciate it. And if you enjoy the NHL, make sure to check out this video is popping up on your screen right now. We did on the Jake Allen video just earlier today. It's a really good one, so make sure to go watch it. But as always, I've been your host KC alongside my co-host Mark Pye. Keep your stick on the ice.